Welcome to the Garden State, welcome to New Jersey. The NXL's third stop on the 2017 tour is here in Atlantic City. Atlantic City is home to the first ever boardwalk in the United States, as well as the Miss America pageant that started here in 1921. An estimated 27 million people come here every year to enjoy the boardwalk, beaches, and casinos. Second only to Las Vegas in terms of highest casino revenue, the first casino was built here in 1978, the first of its kind outside of Las Vegas. The city boasts the world's largest instrument. It has a 6-story high elephant that is older than both the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty. If that was enough, you could always sink your teeth into some taffy. Taffy was created here in Atlantic City, and 11,000 pounds of it are produced here every day. The boardwalk is filling up fast with players from all around the world as they arrive at the NXL Atlantic City Open.
Well, we have a beautiful venue here. We got the Atlantic City skyline right behind us and the Jersey Shore, so it's just a hop skip to go party and gamble a little bit, and it's awesome to be back here. I remember there was a tournament here about 15 years ago, 10-man, not in this specific spot, but in Atlantic City, and it's a nice piece of paintball nostalgia.
Atlantic City marks the halfway point for teams here in the NXL, and the series race is on. San Diego Dynasty came out of the first event in Las Vegas as champions after a disappointing 2016 season. Moved to victory by Alex Rodriguez, who had a phenomenal move through the center of the field, Dynasty was the biggest upset in Dallas when they failed to make the cut and move on to Sunday.
Send the blue train home.
Didn't make Sunday at the last tournament, but you know, all the teams in the pro bracket are capable, and you have to earn every victory. So we're coming into this one fresh with new eyes, and hopefully we can make some waves.
San Antonio X Factor has been one of the most consistent teams the last few seasons, always making the cut and playing great paintball come Sunday. Finishing 4th in Las Vegas and in Dallas, X Factor is on the cusp of making the finals and walking away with a first place finish.
Yeah, so last event we drew Impact again in the semifinals, and once again it was one of those matches that just came down to 1 or 2 points, and we're really trying to work to get over that hump. We made semifinals consistently and just can't seem to kind of get into that first and second match. So, you know, we've been working hard to clean up our game and just kind of fix those small little mistakes and keep us out of that finals match.
If X Factor can figure out a way to make it to the finals in Atlantic City, they may finally get their long-awaited NXL Pro win. Houston Heat assembled some of the greatest players from some of the best teams in the world in 2012. 2017 is shaping up to be a great year for Heat, even though some were hesitant to put them as favorites with some big roster changes. Heat, who took 5th place in Vegas, had one of the best paintball matches we have seen in years against Edmonton Impact in the finals of NXL Dallas. The match came down to a critical 1-on-1 versus Chad George and Keith Brown. Back on top, will Heat continue to play consistently through the rest of 2017? Very few flaws can be found in Edmonton Impact. Easily the most dominant team the last 2 years, Impact has made the finals 12 times, splitting that number down the middle between 1st and 2nd place finishes. The 2017 NXL season has seen Impact take 2nd place twice the first 2 events. Finishes the team finds very disappointing.
I would like a rematch against Dynasty. They beat us. It'd be nice to. I don't feel like they should have, and so it'd be nice to get a redemption.
Although number 1 in the series, Edmonton Impact expects nothing less than 1st place. We look forward to seeing how they and the rest of the professional division do at the 2017 NXL Atlantic City Open.
Welcome to the 2017 NXL Atlantic City Open. It's the 3rd stop on the tour, and it is an overcast and windy morning here, Friday morning, about to get things rolling in the prelims. So, welcome, I'm Matty Marshall, alongside Todd Martinez and Nick Sloviak. We got about 20 minutes-ish before the first paintball, hopefully shot in anger, see who's going to win this tournament here. And, you know, also make sure you sign up for FanWagon. We're going to be, you know, some great prizes at stake here with fanwagon.com. As we watch these games progress, you get to pick the winners, you can pick individual players. Looking very much forward to this particular event, man. We always love coming to these events, but, you know, a little bit of a curveball here. This layout. You know, I really think that this is an interesting layout. We have a staggered snake, and I think there's a lot going on out there, and very much looking forward to see how things are going to break down on this particular layout. So, Nick, you know, you practice on this field. What do you think is going to be the strengths, the weaknesses out here? What are we going to see this weekend?
The one thing I always talk to people about is lanes, shooting lanes on the break. I think that's essentially one of the most important things you can do in paintball. And as you see the shot of the field right there, great shot. The W's a little offset, and this is one of the first fields that we've had in a long time where from back center to back center you can see each other. So you're going to have a pretty good idea on that snake side, the bottom half of your screen, where those bodies are stacked as we're going to make our way over to that side. You can see those lanes. When I say lanes, I mean the areas that you're going to shoot paintballs through to try and prevent someone or hit someone from going to.
Yeah, and Todd, on this particular layout, you know, it's been 15 years since we've been to Atlantic City. We're finally back in this city, and you know, you coaching the Ironman here, talk to me a little bit about these sides of the field. It looks like it's going to be an aggressive field. I mean, it's pretty much stacked up, gunfight to gunfight on the snake side and on the D side.
Yeah, the snake side of the field is kind of interesting, and I'm actually really excited to get the games going here so I can see how it's going to play out once, you know, everybody gets out on the main field and the paint's going. But, you know, that with that wall being off center like that, it's really easy to run lots of bodies to that Dorito side. And running to that Dorito side, you can shoot guys running to the snake side. So it's kind of difficult if a guy's set up to shoot guys running far on the snake side. I expect to see a lot of the attack coming down the Dorito side early.
You know, it looks like this is definitely going to be an attacking side. Like you said, on that D side of the field, as we kind of pan over here, you're going to see that those Doritos, they're just lined up. It's a ladder over there, and that back corner bunker, he's not really going to be much of a help. It's inset, so you are not going to be able to control down that sideline from those back bunkers. So look, like Todd said, look for bodies to be flooding up into that D side. Nick, would you say D side, strong side? Because I've also heard a lot of good things about that snake. Some of these snake players seem to really think they can get things going over there.
I would agree. I think the Dorito side is definitely the stronger side because I think it's a little bit safer to make, as Todd was saying. With you can see the wall; it is offset towards the Dorito side, and that is a big lane blocker, and you can't see who's lined up on that side. Whereas on the snake side, you can. And if you have some really sharp and smart people, as we do here in the professional division, playing that snake side, and they can call an audible on who they think is going out that way, knowing the personnel in front of them, and direct their lanes and their attackers, I think it's going to be a little bit of a stalemate on that snake side. Not to say that you see, like you said, it's offset, it's staggered a little bit. You can get into those snakes, into those laydowns, but the crossfield shots from the Dorito side will prevent you from coming up and really doing much.
But I feel like the crossfield shots walking this field out there, and Nick, I know you got to play this a bunch, but it doesn't really feel like there's that many good crossfield shots until you get up the field.
Yeah, and if you get into one of those good spots and you have somebody open on that Dorito side, you have to make it count, because if you miss that guy, then then you probably missed your window.
You're not going to get that opportunity again.
Yeah, and as we come back to camera, I mean, with the way that the knuckles are set in the snake, and the snake 1 and the snake 2, the crossfield shots from the Doritos really don't allow you to play up like you would in a traditional snake and use that knuckles covered. So if someone's shooting crossfield from you, you have to get down. And as Todd was saying, there are some nice spots on the snake. You can get out to the mini wall, you can get to the 50. You can definitely do some damage. But if you miss your shot cross field right away, that opportunity shouldn't really present itself as long as the other team is aware that you're there.
Yeah, and just last thing before, and we're going to be obviously talking about this all weekend long and how this layout plays, but that center, and because it's offset, there's really not a ton of there's a ton of shots on the snake side, but I think that putting that gun towards the D side is going to be important, because like you said, there's going to be a lot of bodies flooding up there, and if that guy can make that shot and keep him from that forward progress, it's really going to help his front players out. So, well, we're going to have to watch the games to find out how it's actually going to go down here with pro refs, tournament paint, and everyone ready to go. So let's look at some of the highlights from this last event that we saw, and in a great event for Houston Heat. Houston Heat taking on Edmonton Impact in the finals, and you know, boys, we got a really good one for that. And Houston Heat finally sitting at the top of the podium yet again, Todd.
We've had two of the most exciting finishes in paintball history these first two events here of this season, with A-Rod on his run through to finish off Impact in Las Vegas, and then Chad George winning that one-on-one there to win Dallas. So, I mean, if things keep going how they've been so far this year, we're going to be definitely in for a good one here in Atlantic City.
Yeah, and it was good to see Heat, you know, with Heat and all these top teams like Impact right now. And I mean, Impact, they haven't won an event this year. But Heat looked like they were walking around with that swagger. You saw Fedorov just murdering people across the board, getting tons of production out of their starters. Guys coming off the bench also getting some production out of them as well. Houston Heat looked really strong at that last event.
They did look really strong, as you said. Fedorov, that 3-on-5, some ridiculous paintball in the finals. And Todd, I think you hit it right on the head there. We've had some of the most exciting games we've seen in a long time these last two events. But I'll tell you the one thing that I'm really noticing and looking at, Tampa Bay Damage playing this morning, Mooring, killing it out there. Trade My Gun making it to Sunday. Well, Revo making it to Sunday.
I was going to say,
these other teams, man.
Some of the narratives, some of the storylines, I think that Houston Heat, yeah, that's a superstar team put together to win tournaments, and they finally got their mojo back and were able to win an event against Impact, their nemesis. But some of the more interesting stories, I felt, like you just said, Nick, were the fact that Revo made it into the top 8. You had the Outlaws beat Dynasty. They beat the team that won the first event. I got a chance to talk to Jeremy Somm. They're coming up here this morning. And unfortunately for the Outlaws, Cody Chong broke his leg. Yeah. So, and he was really starting to become their #1 killer on this snake side of the field. So that's a huge loss for the Outlaws with Cody Chong. Broke his tibia, and he's going to be out at least 2 tournaments. So the earliest we could see Cody Chong back is going to be World Cup, and that's a big hit for the Outlaws.
Yeah, that's huge. But you know what? I mean, that's one thing you have to rally behind. Guys got to step up. We had that happen to us on Heat a few years back. Ryan Dazan was out. Chad George was out. You gotta step up, and I think those guys under Somm, with how young they are and hungry they are, they can definitely do that.
Yeah, so let's just go back and talk about that one-on-one. In the finals, Keith Brown versus Chad George. You're looking at it on your screen right now. And, Keith Brown has won some one-on-ones. As he came up, he was not the one-on-one king, but Keith Brown became one of the one-on-one kings last year. But Chad George ended up taking him out and really helped his team win that tournament. And it was awesome to watch. Chad played just amazing all weekend long.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead. Chad George has been one of the best snake players in the league since before 2012 when he went to Houston Heat. In that 2012 year, 2013, he really shined. And it's no surprise when you see moves like that from Chad George.
Well, and that snake at the last event was a little chaotic. It was, and the teams that made it on were the teams that were attacking. The teams that figured out how that smart aggression. And Chad George was just the winning ticket for Houston Heat that whole weekend, and just murdering people on the snake side of the field.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the really interesting thing for me, thinking about that point and rewatching it and talking about it, is one, you have 2 of the greatest snake players playing each other. Lauren Kelly interviewed them.
Yeah.
Right before the game.
Yeah.
They didn't get in the snake. They were playing long ball.
Yeah.
Right. And if you go back to it, Keith Brown shot both Ryan Moorhead and Sam Monville to bring it to a 1-on-1. It was a 3-on-1.
Yeah.
So it was, again, like one of the right after that, another 16 seconds had expired in 1-on-ones. To determine the winner. But I mean, like, how crazy.
Well,
like
that's
you were saying
paintball
earlier, Todd,
but that's paintball for you.
This is it.
Because, yeah, if he had made that shot on Chad George, we'd be sitting up here talking about, Keith Brown won this 3-on-1, unbelievable.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
He wasn't able to get that, and it all comes down to that last one. Hey, that's why you do one-on-ones in practice. That's why you need to be prepared for that, because, yeah, those are the first attackers on the snake side of the field mostly. I mean, they're versatile, but yeah, you may be the one, but you may find yourself in the finals playing in a one-on-one, and you're the one that has to win that one-on-one. And it's not always going to be your back guys or your 2s and your 3s that are in those one-on-ones, the Nick Sloviaks of your team trying to win one-on-ones. Sometimes it's going to be the ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so still, just a couple minutes away here before the start of this first point. But let's check out the Pro Team rankings heading into this 3rd stop on the tour. You see Edmonton Impact there still sitting at 1st. Edmonton Impact has been incredibly consistent, and Houston Heat just 22 points behind them, sitting 2nd overall with a victory at the last event. San Antonio X Factor, 3rd place overall for them, and that's another highly consistent team. Maybe I talked to X Factor yesterday. They look very confident in this layout. They love this layout. And then Dynasty right behind them, sitting 4th. Tampa Bay Damage, a resurgent Tampa Bay Damage, finally got their swagger back at the last event, sitting at 5th. And then Moscow Red Legion 6th, Infamous 7th, AC Dallas 8th, and then the Outlaws. We talked about. I mean, it's great to see the Outlaws ranked in the top 10 right now. Talked to Jeremy Somm this morning before we got things going, and he said, hey man, Outlaws, we're in for the marathon. We want to be one of the best teams in the world. Just give me a little bit of time. And you see the Ironmen, a rebuilt Ironman squad looking to improve their position here in professional paintball, ranked 10th overall. Uprising, always entertaining games. We're going to see them here in the morning bracket. Baltimore Revo sitting at 12th. Boom behind them, 4th. Revo making the top 8 at the last event. And the New Kids on the Block, PC Katana, sitting at 14th. And it's just a heartbreaker for Seattle Thunder fans. They're down in 15th because they seem to just give the best teams out here good games every single time they play. And then last place, Chicago Aftershock. And here are the top 4 teams after 2 events. And looking at the disparity here, the difference from last season to this season, and you can see the highlighted one there, sitting number 2, is Infamous. Last year, heading into the 3rd event, was 2nd overall, as they had a win. And right now, it's Houston Heat. No difference in that 1st place position these 2 years. And then Dynasty was 3rd place last year. They're 4th place now. X Factor sitting at 3rd, so a little bit of a change there. So, I mean, I don't know, man. This is a really tough tournament to call. Historically, the third event of the year has typically been in Chicago. But now we're, again, it's been 15 years since we've been in Atlantic City. But, this event, the third event of the year, there's no excuses anymore. You've had, most of the beginning of the year, Northeast teams can't use the excuse of, hey, we haven't had a chance to play outdoors. And, you've brought the new guys on the team, the new squad, everyone's had their looks. You should have things all figured out or close to figured out right now, which is why this event, other than World Cup, second hardest event to win.
Yeah, it's called mid-season form, right? There's no beginning of the year hangover. There's no end of the year drag. Should be the best tournament of the year, which is why we always saw a really competitive tournament in Chicago every year, right?
Yeah.
So this is the event where we should see all the teams playing their best paintball.
What do you think, Nick?
I couldn't really disagree with that at all. I mean, I do miss the middle of the event in Chicago, my hometown. But we get to go there next event, which I'm excited about. But yeah, this is it, man. And we've got the stages set in front of us. It's a great field layout. I think it's going to provide us with some excellent games, and you couldn't ask for a better backdrop with the city in the background. And I'm excited, like Todd said right at the beginning, just to watch some of these games and see how some of these top teams play this field, because we play later, and I want to take notes from them. So
yeah.
Well, let's get a quick look here at the top 5 killers here in the league so far through 2 events. And Michael Kovar last year at World Cup really made a statement. Longtime member of San Antonio X Factor, but kind of been a support guy, but really emerging as a star now for the team. Left X Factor for a while, moved over and played with the Russians. And speaking of the Russians, Konstantin Fedorov, ranked 4th overall. I mean, arguably one of the best players ever to pick up a paintball gun. You see 30 confirmed kills and 29 points played. And anytime you're sitting over that 1 kill per point average, if you're over that, that's the level of greatness. So you see Archie Montemayor, 32 confirmed kills and 28 points played, ranked 3rd. Archie Montemayor, just a destroyer on that D side of the field. And look for him in the combo of Colt Roberts and Archie Montemayor to be doing the majority of the work. And there's Nick Laval, ranked 2nd overall. Nick Laval, couple MVP awards for that man, coming from Upton 187 crew, now defunct. But the death of 187 has really been a boost to everybody else in this league. And then there is ranked 1st, Alex Goldman, 37 confirmed kills and 23 points played. The performance that Alex Goldman put on at the last event was one of the best, no hyperbole here, one of the best we've ever seen. What do you think? 100%. I mean, how nasty was Alex Goldman at the last event?
I mean, Alex Goldman over the past couple of years has just really dedicated himself to his craft. He's gone and put in all the extra work. He blew himself up. He does lots of cardio. He went from mouse to splinter. And now he's just this, electrically charged beast. That does whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And knowing him since he was 14 years old, watching the progression of how he's grown has really been amazing to how he is now.
Well, real quick, we're about to get into this first point here. We got to make some predictions. I'm going to go first. I think that Moscow Red Legion's got a really good chance at this one. They're coming off a win in Europe. They've been looking really good. They're young killers on this field. The way that they attack, and on this attacking field, can't really cross it up too much on this field. I really think that the Russians have a chance. What do you guys think? Todd, let's go with you.
Well, I'm really pulling for the Ironmen this event.
What? Get out of here. That's crazy.
I'd be kind of disappointed if they lost, So, I think they got just a bunch of really good guys, and just the coolest, best-looking coach in the league. So
yeah, just a devastatingly handsome.
Other than Ryan Brand, probably the second best-looking coach in the league.
Yeah, you got him on the beard, though. Well, Nick, let's go with you.
Well, I had X Factor. I think that they're just right there. And having a talk with LJ and some of those guys and looking at this field layout with the weapons they have, they have a deep roster. I think this is going to be a great field for them, and I think they just want it. That's going to be a big factor in that. X Factor.
I've been picking X Factor for events, but here we go. First point of the tournament right now. Baltimore Revo, Trade My Gun Outlaws throwing it down. And we're going to say goodbye to Nick Sloviak as he plays the morning bracket here. Chicago Aftershock. So we're going to see here, there is on the screen, Baltimore Revo. Looks like O'Mara, the first to take the walk, and there goes another body. So 2 bodies have dropped as the attack is now pushing on that D side of the field for Revo. But they are down 2 bodies. Outlaws also lose 2 bodies, so it's even because of the attack, Todd, on that D side of the field. We were just talking about this.
Yeah, 2 bodies walking off the field early there for Outlaws. It's just going to be too much as Revo just starts powering down that Dorito side. Watched them play yesterday in practice, and Hank Sense out there was just crushing down that Dorito side, making some good moves. And we saw O'Mara playing really well for them on the Snake side. I think he shot across the field early and got one of those kills on the break to help free up his Dorito side players. So good, quick first point there by Revo, coming out strong, finishing the way they finished the last event.
These younger teams that are coming up here, the lower ranked teams that we've seen here in this division past couple seasons, are starting to find their form. Talking about the Outlaws, talking about Boom, talking about Revo, Uprising, Thunder even. It just, the question is when, you know? I mean, when are they going to start constantly hanging with the top teams? It's a question we can't really answer. It's up to them to answer that, but it's good to see Revo lose a couple bodies and then understand, hey, well, if we don't get things going on this D side of the field, if you lose a couple bodies on the Snake side, you have to push the D side because you're not going to win crossing it up. Most likely. That's the lower percentage play here on this field, at least from the intel that we've gotten through practice. Now, into this Uprising and Dynasty match. Going 16 minutes on that clock here, playing their first point. Dynasty on your right-hand side. Uprising in the white on your left-hand side and on your screen right now. Kind of tucked in the pocket. There's Dynasty doubling up that back center.
Yeah, and here's Ryan Greenspan and Tyler Harmon over there on that Dorito side. When we practiced them last weekend, Tyler Harmon was really just barreling down that Dorito side, going wherever he wanted. Yeah, it's definitely hard to stop him. So I expect to see a lot of that from him this weekend.
Well, it looks like Gray is the first body to drop here for Uprising. So 4 bodies for Uprising versus 5 for Dynasty. Dynasty, a little bit of a conservative breakout, though I don't think they're going to play this field really conservatively. I think that they're going to be trying to push down that D side of the field and the Snake side. And here comes kind of a dual move for Dynasty. I don't think they planned that one, and it looks like Alex Frazier's going to get center punch in his chest, and he's going to have to walk off. Evens up the body count.
And looks like Tucker's going to sneak into that mini wall on the Snake side, try and get a shot across the field. Greenspan and Harmon still alive over there. Yosh Rao and Brandon Short. Rao going to fill out to the Snake side can next to Short. Uprising. Looks like they got Olsen up at the wall.
Kind of a bad death for either Brandon Short or Kyle Spica in that back corner. Brandon Short. So Brandon came over the top of that, kind of got caught by the wall. He knew that that spot was hot. That puts Dynasty on the defensive right now with just 3 bodies left alive. They're on your screen. Tucker in good position here at the mini wall on the Snake side, trying to get the crossfield shot. That's really as far. You have to go to that spot really to get any crossfield shots on that Snake side.
Yeah, and here comes, looks like Nate Schrader jumps into the Dorito too. Yosh Rao trying to fill out. He takes one in the back of the head from the wall. And Ryan Greenspan getting pinched out from the center. Just Tyler Harmon left, and he's going to get shot down the wire. Looks like Nate Schrader getting that shot in. Tommy Tucker popping up out of the 50 Snake now. So, quick control point there for Uprising, as they're able to pick out Dynasty bodies one by one, shoot everybody out of their spots.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of miscommunication or miscue with Frazier and Short as they were moving over here on the Snake side. They lost Frazier because of it, and then Brandon Short got caught on a head check from that center. I don't think he knew that that spot was hot. Once those 2 bodies had come off of the Snake side, that was pretty much it. You can see here's the replay, and they both move at the same time. Frazier's going to come right past Brandon, and he gets shot trying to take that extra. He didn't want to go to that spot. You can see him turn around and look at Brandon. So a little bit of a miscue here in the first point.
There's Tyler Harmon on your screen right there. Bringing lots of energy to San Diego Dynasty. Brian Lynn, John Jackson getting ready for the next point. AC Dallas, the next match, I'm sorry. AC Dallas coming up next. Here we have TMG with somebody wearing a Jeremy Salm jersey. So you get to be Jeremy Salm for the rest of the weekend.
So on the breakout here, the Outlaws.
John Kurzawa.
Yeah, Kurzawa, who had it, and there's going to be the first penalty. It's going to be a minor.
I think Jeremy Salm got a minor coming out to the Snake side. Got his back guy pulled. Center guy went through. So just 2 bodies left alive now for the Outlaws. That was Lloyd up in the middle on the trade out. So now Pike is going to be able to get into the mini wall and into the 50 Snake.
Outlaws able to bump into Dorito too, but nobody on the Snake side of the field. It's going to be a matter of seconds before Pike pops up and shoots that Dorito 2 guy out. Heat walks off. Just one body left. And it is Fred Berkeley, I believe, in the back.
That's Tyler Osborne that's wearing Jeremy's jersey. And looks like just Pike left alive. O'Mara's still alive.
Yeah, no, that was Jordan Davidson was the last body alive for the Outlaws. Davidson? So here comes Dynasty.
Now we're in Fitz with the Outlaws. And if you're just tuning in, big loss for the Outlaws as they lost Cody Chong to a broken leg. Broke his leg while playing paintball, sliding out into a spot, and he's going to be out until at least World Cup. And that is a big loss for the Outlaws, as he was the weapon over here on the Snake side of the field.
And he was the guy that was really starting to pick his game up.
Yes.
You know, he was the guy that we saw continuous improvement. Every event was getting better and was starting to pick it up and play consistent. Unfortunately, broke his leg.
So now, second point here between Dynasty and Uprising. The teams have switched sides. Uprising on your screen. Repositioning in the center and going to go up to the center 50 wall. Looks like the first body to drop is going to be for Uprising with an advantage. One body advantage right now, as Dynasty does lose Tyler Harmon, though. Tucker comes off as well with Olsen. And there goes Graham Arnold as well. So bloodbath here, point. 3 bodies have dropped for Uprising. 1 for Dynasty. This is a big advantage for Dynasty. 4 players left alive for them. No one really on the Snake side. Here comes the push up the center with Marcelo.
Yeah, Marcelo going to that center tower to make sure nobody tries to run back to the back center, locking that side off, allowing Kyle Spica to fill out on the Snake side. He's going to be able to go all the way to the 50 from the corner.
Yeah, nice move by Kyle Spica. He did spread the field out, and he did. You know that not looking at a ton of bodies right now. The Uprising, only 2 players left alive. Actually make that one. It's just Nate Schrader in the back corner bunker on the D side, and he gets taken out. And that is going to do it here. Dynasty going to tie this game up 1-1 with 12 minutes and 41 seconds left to go. It's a good point for Dynasty right there.
Yeah, they needed that. Have we even seen Alex Rodriguez on the field yet?
We haven't called his name yet.
Tyler didn't play last point, then Tyler went up to the wall on that point.
I feel like with the way, everyone on Dynasty has this in him, but the way that A-Rod has he's got that 6th gear, he has that big aggressive push in him that's always there, that every team has to worry about. I think this could be a really good field for a guy like Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah. And, when you have Alex Rodriguez who's good at playing the wall, and you have Tyler Harmon who's also good at playing the wall, sometimes it's hard to, kind of decide which one you want to send. A-Rod is really skilled at shooting people on the way up and then, making good run-through moves. Tyler's a little bit taller. He's faster. He can get there quicker, kill people through the windows.
Tyler's also had some big moves, some run-throughs to break games open in that center, too.
Yeah, 100%. Here comes the Outlaws. They lose 1 on the break, go up to the wall. Looks like Lloyd, either Lloyd or Mantoni. It's Brian Lynn.
Yeah, Brian
coming
Lynn
through the middle right now.
Yeah, he's still alive, man. That's what you want. Want to come through, get your guy, and stay alive. And Brian Lynn on the Outlaws side of the field right now. Outlaws trying to do damage control. Brian Lynn gets another free kill as they have not picked him up. Count that, 3 confirmed kills for Brian Lynn. Really breaking this one open. Pike waves off the rest of the guys as the bowling ball. Brian Lynn comes through and just wrecking shop in there. 3 confirmed kills for Lynn on that one.
Yeah, good move right there. Brian Lynn helping Revo. Revo looking strong this morning.
Yeah, Revo picking it up right where they left off. They made it to this quarterfinals. Didn't get past the quarterfinals at the last event in Texas, but they look pretty good, man. They had a real good prelims. They're here looking at this run through. Watch Lynn come through. Man, that's exactly when you draw it up. That's what you want it to look like. Guy was even looking that way too, and then he got that kill on the D side there, top of your screen. He's going to get another one there from the center. 3 confirmed kills for Lynn. Quite a windy morning here, Todd.
Yeah.
And there's Lynn. Fired up. Talking to Lloyd there now on the breakout. Uprising in Dynasty. Tie ball game, 1-1. Dynasty on your screen in their new camo jerseys. 12:28 to go. Been a pretty penalty-free morning so far. Just 1 minor overall. there's
Dynasty running the same play again, going short on the snake side over here with Brandon Short. Alex Rodriguez goes out to that Dorito on the Dorito side, shooting inside. Tyler Harmon out to the corner. Doubled up in the back center.
Uprising at the center 50. And there goes Alex, who gets shot trying to get to the wall. So good kill for Uprising. One body advantage for Uprising. It's 5-on-4. The referee, no, it looks like 2 Uprising players go to D1, and then Nate gets right out of there. So pushing up on the D side. Another body comes off for San Diego Dynasty.
Yeah, Matty, and Olsen right now going to that wall every single point is going up there and doing damage. He's going to come on the Dynasty side of the field right now and try and get a shot in on Tyler Harmon. We saw Tyler make the move, missed him, and then tried to come, and now Alex Frazier going to launch to try to come get Olsen.
That's a good move for Alex Frazier. He comes through and gets the thorn. He's going to get another kill as Nate has no idea that his buddy got shot, and now they're going to have to deal with Alex and see if they can do it. I don't think... Does Tucker know where he is? Yeah, Tucker knows where he is. Nice job by Tucker to come around and get Frazier. Did he get shot coming through, though? No, Tucker's still alive. Tommy Tucker on your screen.
This might be a 2-on-1, Matty. I see Tucker, I see Arnold, and Harmon. I don't see any more Dynasty guys.
Todd, I think you're right. And here comes Arnold. He's going to come through and execute Tyler Harmon, who was at the 50-yard line on that D side. So frustrating point here for San Diego Dynasty. Couple deaths for them. Nice move by Frazier to try to counter the move in the center from Olsen. But Tucker also made a great move over here on the snake side, and then Arnold finished it off. So going to take a 1-point lead here. Seattle Uprising hanging with one of the best, San Diego Dynasty. Arnold getting checked out by the ref. Thumbs up means the point is good. So the Outlaws and Revo coming out. And we're in the pits right now with Uprising. Let's listen in.
30 seconds.
Yeah, be smart. Nate, did you not shoot the Dallas guy? Huh? He got lucky. I came off him because I saw you shoot a whole fucking stream at him.
Borromeo. That was Borromeo. Hey, this is what you want to see, though, Todd.
Yeah.
Talking about angles, focused, intense. Coach is giving him some input. That's what you want to see when you look in these pits. So big breakout here for the Outlaws. They take Snake 1 off the break, and they are able to shoot a body, score 3-0. Outlaws need to get something going here.
Yeah, it looked like Lloyd wanted to launch around the back center snake side, go up to the wall. Got caught by Kurzawa. And Kurzawa going to come through now, try and come on to Revo's side of the field, but he gets ripped apart. I think Henry Sense shot him from that big Dorito on the Dorito side. We're going to have to come up with a name for that.
Yeah, we are.
I've been calling the Dorito 1 the first one out on the wire, not the big one right on the insert right away.
Yeah, we can't call the back Dorito D1.
No.
It's too close to the start gate. It looks like, well, we could maybe the bunker of death. I don't think that's going to be the bunker of death, but unfortunately for Revo, as they lose the body out of that bunker.
Omara asking for a check in the snake right now.
Valentico over there with him. Yeah, looks like Omara's clean though. He's going to switch, shoot inside, and normally there's no good shots from there, but unfortunately for Revo, the Outlaws are past the 50 on the D side, and here goes Falatico. No one's picked up Falatico, and here comes Falatico. He might be winning this one for Revo, and he does. Nice job by Falatico.
Oh man, sometimes that bounce is all the difference right there. Catching a bounce, Falatico in that outside tall cake, and then is able to get up, run down the field, and shoot. Well, first, I think it was a 2-on-2, because there was a body alive on the snake side that they had to deal with. So somebody shot him first, and then Falatico ran the snake wire, and then shot Stapula in the back, far up on the Dorito side.
You're doing your job.
Now we're in pits. There's Jeremy Somm, the Outlaws.
30 seconds.
Hey, Thursday, you're at the White House. That's aggressive. There, just being, you know what I mean?
They're all looking like this.
20 seconds.
Barrel tips. I'm like, I checked the move off of Kennedy, and the Lincoln was just looking too. Why are we dying?
2 seconds.
So there's John Crover and Jeremy Somm discussing things in the pits with the Outlaws. Now see Dynasty down by 1 here against Uprising. 10 minutes, 30 seconds left to go, and first body to drop is going to be Nate Schrader for Uprising. Olsen goes to the stand-up temple in the center. Referee is going to come and check out Blake Yarber. Other than that, good break for Dynasty. 5 players alive for them. They have a 1-body advantage, but they are down a point. There's Kyle Spica talking it up crossfield at the stand-up can here, snake side. They also have the 50 wall. You can see there he's shading towards the D side and looking at the crack towards the snake. There are not a lot of shots towards the D side from those windows of the wall. If you come towards the snake side, you can pretty much see every bunker. And you got to worry about Olsen right there at the stand-up temple. Now, if no one is up far on that D side, because it's staggered like that, and you're looking towards the D side, shading around that D side at the center, you can really stop the attack on that D side, but you have to live by your gun.
Yeah, it looks like Uprising has already lost at least 2 bodies. Olsen trying to deal with Tyler Harmon, looking through that window. It's like Blake Yarber is going to sneak up into the Dorito. Olsen's going to go attack him. And
he gets torched.
Yeah, I think they might have traded, maybe not. Olsen comes walking off. Yarber's still in there, and Tyler Harmon now is going to be able to stand at that window, shoot whoever he wants. Yeah. Marcelo starts yelling at Spica to get going.
Yeah, there's not a lot of bodies left alive for Uprising right now. I think they just have that one in the back. Dorito, here comes Spica flying into the 50-yard line. Margot's in there with him. Dynasty looking really good at this point. Graham Arnold wheeling and dealing from that back Dorito, and he gets pinched out. Nothing he can do in that situation. Is there another body left alive for Uprising? I don't think so.
Looks like it.
Yeah, that's it. As Tyler Harmon is going to cruise in and hit that buzzer to tie this game at 2. So close match in this particular game of this set. Outlaws really haven't been giving Revo much of a game here. I mean, the points are relatively close, but Revo's just making the better decisions and winning more gunfights out there.
Yeah, and Matty, I'm telling you right now, the way that this field plays, if you lose your first body and the wrong guy switches to cover, the other team could be down on your side of the field really quick.
I totally agree.
Just throwing that out there right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen it already. Yeah. Is that, as we're looking at Rusty Glaze, talking to Alex Rodriguez in the pits with Dynasty, Todd, I couldn't agree more. I was walking this field out here talking to everyone about how it played during practice. And this is one of those fields that you're I wouldn't say you're not completely on an island, but if you lose your D side and you can't attack the snake side, man, good luck. Because you're probably not going to win that point. And yeah, this is going to be one of those fields that if you shoot the guy in front of you, you almost don't even have enough time to disengage, call the kill cross field, and then reestablish. It's better for you to just take the next spot.
Yes, absolutely. I think we're going to watch that play out here as the day goes on.
Looking at the battle developing here in the center. Haven't seen this yet so far at the tournament. Both teams have a body at that center 50 wall. See who comes around first. Revo on your right-hand side, Outlaws on your left. And there goes a body coming off right now for the Outlaws. Looks like, is that Lynn up there again? Yeah, Lynn wants to go. He's coming around the D side. He's wrapping around. Looks like he might get killed. No, lets the guy get into D1. Fortunately for the Outlaws, they're losing a bunch of bodies behind their D1 player. And here comes the run through. Ends up taking Lynn out.
Yeah, Kurzawa coming through again. That's his main job for the Outlaws.
And he played awesome for them at the last event in Texas.
Yep, looking to repeat, but I think they just lost another body off that Dorito side. May only have 1 player left. So once again, Revo continuing to attack.
You're looking at those 2 bodies on the right-hand side of your screen for Revo. It's just like Todd was saying, attacking on that D side. Don't have anybody at the 50. They have D1 and D2, and there is Pike also alive for Revo, and that's going to force the Outlaws to throw that towel in.